After you've purchased a few items through eBay, you'll be very comfortable and ready to sell some items. I've decided to sell a rare 1958 Mike Munvey's catalog. Mike Munvey's was a large distributor of arcade games during the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and even into the 70s. Before I can sell my item, I need to do some research. I need to find out what this catalog has been selling for on eBay in the past. This will give me an idea of how to price my item. First thing I'm going to do is search for Mike Munvey's. This will show me all of the current listings that have Mike Munvey's items. I see someone else is already selling a 1953 catalog, and they have it priced at $9.99 as the opening bid. They have 4 days remaining, and this is most likely a 7-day auction, so it's been up for 3 days, and they haven't received any bids yet. If I look down a little bit lower, I can see that in the eBay stores area, there are a number of other people offering Mike Munvey's catalogs. One is offering a reprint. Some people are offering some additional Mike Munvey's related items, including a poster and a 1954 supplement, which is only a part of a catalog. The 1954 supplement is going for $45. Since I have a full catalog and not just a supplement, I'd like to think mine is worth more than $45. The $45 price is merely a price this seller has chosen. This doesn't necessarily indicate the value of the item. I need to see what people have actually been paying for this catalog. So I'm going to scroll up to the search options. I'm going to click completed items because I want to see what items have been completed. If I go back to the top and check, I still have Mike Munvey's listed in my search criteria, so I'm going to click search again. When my search returns, I see that there are 3 items found for Mike Munvey's, and we are showing only completed listings. I see a Mike Munvey's 1954 catalog for $50, but there were no buyers because this was in red. Red indicates that it was not sold. There's another Mike Munvey's catalog, 1954, for $25, also no buyers. There's a Mike Munvey's number 60 clean original catalog. This is actually the same as my 1958 catalog for $30, and there were no buyers. Usually if an item's been selling at a low price, or it has not been selling at all, as in the case with these catalogs, you do not want to sell your item. You might not receive the full value. I think I can do a better job of listing it than these people have been doing, so I'm going to go ahead and list my item. Now that I have some ideas on pricing, I need to know where to list my catalog. I'm going to click on one of these auctions, and I can see that this ended auction was listed in the collectibles, arcade jukebox, arcade, machines, non-video group. So I want to list my item in the non-video group. While I'm here, I'll take a closer look at this auction. I see this item was priced at $50 with a buy it now price. This person was shipping from Canada. This may have reduced the number of bids that he received. Some people don't like to buy from outside the USA. When I look through the description, I see that he's done a good job of describing the item, and he's given all the important information. He's also included a large photograph. And this seller does also accept PayPal. This looks like a pretty good auction. I don't think he drove away too many buyers. Most likely the price was just too high. If I go back to the top, I see an option that says sell an item like this. I can click this and sell in the same group, but instead I'm going to go back to the sell link at the very top. This sell link is on every page. I'm going to click this link. Most of the time when you want to sell an item, you'll click on the sell link, so that's where I'll start. eBay is requesting some keywords about my item. eBay can use these keywords to make suggestions about what category to list in. I already know what category I want, so I'm going to select the Browse for Categories. Now I can select Collectibles, Arcade Jukebox Pinball, Arcade, Machines, and Non-Video. That's the end of my category, and you can see at the bottom that is category number 20270. I don't have to remember this number right now because I've selected my category, so I'm going to select Save and Continue. eBay is asking if I want to add a second category. Adding a second category doubles your listing fees, and it's also unnecessary at this time because I know that my category is the one best category. So I'm going to select Continue with no second category. Now if I scroll down, I can describe my item. I need to enter my title first, so I'll select a title that uses keywords I expect people to search for. I can add a subtitle for an additional fee. The words and subtitles are not searched when members use a keyword search. You can use a subtitle as a selling tool. For instance, I could make my subtitle say, "Buy now and get free shipping." I'm not going to use a subtitle for this auction. If I scroll down, I'm asked the condition. This is not a new item, so I'm not going to select new. If you're familiar with HTML and you have your own website, you can host your own photos on your website and link to them from your description. If you're familiar with how to use HTML, then that will be easy for you to add. I'm not going to go over that. I'm going to use the standard photo hosting that's included with eBay. The built-in eBay photo hosting is a very easy to use service. I'm going to click Add Pictures and then Browse. I've already taken 3 photographs of my product, so I'm going to click the first one and select Open, and you'll see that it appears in my list. I have 2 other photographs that I want to use, so I'm going to select those also. Now you see all 3 photographs are listed. There are some additional options. I'm not going to use those right now, so I'm just going to select Upload. This will upload the images from my computer to eBay. This returns me to the previous page. You can see that my 3 images have appeared in thumbnail form. Beneath this I have an option for a gallery picture for an additional charge. If you look beneath this description, you can see how the listing will look without an image. When anyone conducts a search for the terms Mike Munvey's or Mike Munvey's catalog, my item will appear, but they will see a camera image and they will see the description. I want potential bidders to see the actual image, so I'm going to click on Gallery Picture. Using a gallery picture will greatly enhance the number of bids and your high bid. I recommend you always use a gallery picture. As I scroll down, I come to the description area. There's 2 options for entering your description: the standard, which is selected by default, and HTML. If you're familiar with HTML, you can enter your own HTML code and include links to your own photographs on your website. I'm going to use the standard mode because it's the easiest to use. I click in the window and I begin typing my description. I make sure that the first line of my description restates the title. I then want to describe the item completely. I've finished typing my description. Let's take a closer look. The first line repeats the title, then I list the condition and include any additional information such as the number of pages that any buyer would want to know. I describe what the item actually is. It contains images of hundreds of antique arcade games from the 1950s, a very interesting book of unusual and rare arcade games. It's important to let people know what the item is. Some new collectors might not be familiar with this catalog. By describing it, I make it available not only to experienced collectors who know what it is, but to new collectors who might not be familiar with it. A must-have for any collector of arcade games. It's often appropriate to target a specific audience by saying that your item is appropriate for that audience. You do not want to make it too narrow because you may exclude some people. I would not want to say that this is only for collectors of games from the 1950s, because a video game collector from the 1980s might also be interested in this item. I then say thanks for looking and good luck bidding. Wishing a potential bidder good luck can increase your number of bids and your high bid amount. You can say any number of things besides good luck to encourage a bidder to go ahead and place a bid. Below the description, I also have my payment and shipping information. This information is included later in the auction, but it's customary to include a summary in the description also. I make it clear that I do accept PayPal. Accepting PayPal will increase the number of interested bidders in an auction. Many people associate the acceptance of PayPal with legitimacy from a seller. I also accept check or money order for people that don't have a PayPal account or prefer not to use PayPal. For shipping, I start with my shipping for the USA. I also offer a shipping rate for Canada and for international shipments. A shipping cost is based on priority mail. I note this catalog is very light and I can ship it in a flat rate box. I've also added a couple of extra dollars to cover my listing fees. If we go down, we'll see an option called the Listing Designer. If If I click this checkbox, I can enable a number of fancy designs to be added to my auction. This will add a nice border around the auction and format the auction in a certain way. I generally don't like using the listing designer. It can make your auction look like other people's auctions who have chosen the same themes, and it also costs more. Using any type of fancy graphics or HTML can also distract bidders. I'm going to uncheck this because I do not want to use the listing designer. It's better to keep a very simple, plain, clean auction. Next we have the visitor counter. This will show a counter at the bottom of the description showing how many people have looked at this auction. If you select this option, you should only use the hidden counter. As explained in the Don't Bid on It book, you do not want other people to see your counter values. If you select the hidden counter, then only the seller will be able to see the number of people who have looked at the auction. Our next option is to select an online auction or a fixed price auction. If we select the fixed price auction, I can sell my item at one fixed price. If I were willing to sell this item at $50 and I did not want to take less, or if I had multiple items and I wanted to sell them all at the same price, I could use this option. I'm going to select the online auction option. For my starting price, I'm going to put in $1. I'm hoping that more people will bid and it will not have to sell for $1. I can also enter a buy it now price. I'm going to put in a buy it now price of $45. Having a high buy it now price and a low opening bid encourages bidders to place a bid instead of use the buy it now price. I'm doing this because I want to encourage someone to bid early. If the second person that visits my auction sees that there's already a bidder and the price is only $1, they may try to bid again just to win the auction at $2. After several people do this, this may run up the price and make my item appear a lot more interesting. For the quantity, I only have one, so I'm going to leave that at 1. You can select to donate a percentage of your sale to a non-profit organization. For the duration, I'm going to leave it at 7 days. There are a number of options, but as explained in the Don't Bid on It book, 7 days is the only one that you should use. I also have the option to start the listing immediately. This means it will end in exactly 7 days at the same time I'm listing it. I can also schedule a start time, which means it will end 7 days from that time. I might use the schedule time if I wanted my auction to end at 7 p.m. and I was listing it at noon. By scheduling it, I might be able to gain more page views and therefore a higher bid amount. I'm not going to worry about starting at a specific time. If I scroll down a little bit more, I'll see the payment options. Here I can enable PayPal. The PayPal box is already checked for me because I have a PayPal account. I've already entered the email address associated with my PayPal account. This will allow buyers to send payment as soon as the auction ends. I can also require immediate payment when a buyer uses Buy It Now. If I suspect someone might want to use Buy It Now without paying, then I could use this option. Then they would be required to pay as soon as they use Buy It Now. Since I'm not really looking for people to use Buy It Now, and I expect someone to place a bid, I'm not going to select this option. Additional payment methods: money order, cashier's check, or personal check. I said in my description that I will accept checks and money orders, so I'll select these here. For my shipping, I've offered a flat rate to the U.S. A flat rate was $7, so I'm going to set $7 for priority mail, which is already selected. If I scroll down to my international shipping options, I can select Canada, USPS priority mail, and my worldwide shipping rate for air mail, which is first class. I can also select areas I do not want to ship to. Currently I'm set to will ship worldwide. There's really no reason for me to ship everywhere because this catalog is not going to be of interest in some areas of the world. There's simply some areas of the world where they do not collect arcade games. So I'm going to ship to the United States and the following countries: Canada, and Australia, Europe, UK, and Germany. It's important to have your correct location. Many people like to purchase locally even if the item is shipped. Having an honest location also improves the trust of buyers, and this will result in more bids or higher bids. I can set buyer requirements. I'm going to click Change Buyer Requirements. Here you can set restrictions on who can bid on your auction. I can block bidders who are registered in countries where I do not ship. I can block bidders who have a feedback score equal to or lower than -1. I have this option already selected because there's no reason for anyone that has an overall negative feedback rating to bid on any auction. Have 2 unpaid item strikes in the past 30 days. I'm going to select that option because if anyone hasn't paid for 2 auctions in the past 30 days, it's very unlikely they'd pay for mine. Have bid on or bought my items in the past 10 days. I'm not going to select that option because I'm selling a collectible, and people that are interested in this collectible may also be interested in other collectibles I'm offering. If I select the last option, I can block people who do not have a PayPal account. People with PayPal accounts are much more likely to pay, and payments go much more smoothly when someone does have a PayPal account as a buyer. I'm not going to select this one now though. I'll let people pay by check or money order if they choose. Now I'm going to click Save. When I return to the main page, you can see my buyer requirements. I block bidders who have a feedback score equal to or lower than -1, and bidders who have received 2 unpaid item strikes in the last 30 days. That means 2 sellers have filed complaints about unpaid items. Beneath this is sales tax. I'm just selling this as a private individual, so I'm not going to have to list sales tax. If you are running a business, then you'll already know your sales tax rate. Under return policy, it's always a good idea to accept returns. I'm going to set mine for 14 days, money back guarantee. I don't like to sell items as is. That implies that there might be something wrong with it. Even if you have an as-is item, it's a good idea to have a satisfaction guarantee. Most people will read the description thoroughly, and as long as the item is described accurately, there should not be a problem with returns. I don't have any additional checkout instructions, so I'll click Save and Continue. Now eBay gives me the options to add special upgrades. Sometimes their value packs are good deals. These change regularly, so you'll have to take a look at them and compare them to the options you've already selected. The gallery image is already checked because I selected that when I added my photograph. There are a number of other options here. I'm not going to select any of those. They're all explained in the Don't Bid On It book. We see how my item will look in the search results. There's my gallery image, my description, my price with the Buy It Now, and the time listed. As I scroll down, I see a summary of my fees: 40 cents for the insertion, 20 cents for Buy It Now, 30 cents for the additional photo, and the gallery was 35 cents. So my total cost is $1.25 for listing this. If it sells and someone pays by PayPal, there will also be a small PayPal fee. There's also a final value fee. This fee depends on the final bid price. If you click on the final value fee, it will show the charge for the final value price. For instance, if my catalog sold for $50, there would be an additional $2.40 charge. Now I have the option of listing the item or previewing the listing. I'm going to click on Preview so I can see what the listing will look like. It looks good, so I'm going to close that window and click on List Your Item. Congratulations, your item is listed for sale. I'm going to click on the title, which will take me directly to this auction. Item has no bids yet because I've just listed it, but we can see what the auction looks like. It's always a good idea to check the auction after you've listed it. Sometimes you'll forget something or leave out some important information. If you realize you made a mistake or you need to change something, simply go back to the top of the listing and select Revise Your Item. eBay may ask for your username and password again, but this will allow you to log in and change settings on your auction, including the price or description. Once a bid is placed, you cannot change the description, but you can add to it.